Going to be taking a look at how the different zodiacs feel about you. So how this is going to work is I'm going to go from Aries to Pisces and see how each zodiac sign feels about you. So let's go ahead and shuffle your cards. We're starting out with Aries. So how does Aries feel about this collective? Spirit guides of this collective. How does Aries feel about this collective? So the first card we have is the Eight of Wands. Then we have the Star. Then we have the Nine of Wands reversed. I'm hearing that some of you could have a lot of Mercury placements, or you could get along with like Aries Mercuries. So Five of Cups reversed, with the Empress at the back of the deck. So it's interesting because Aries are usually known as go-getters. Aries are usually known as people that have strong boundaries up and all of that. But I feel like I'm picking up on specific types of Aries that maybe are a little bit in that people-pleasing energy. So I don't know if I'm picking up on Aries suns or other Aries placements, but I feel like from my personal perception, Aries suns are a little bit more open with their boundaries and things like that, whereas other Aries placements may sometimes struggle more with boundaries. So I don't know. I could be picking up on like Aries placements that struggle with boundaries and struggle with people pleasing and have a lot of heartbreak and maybe heartbreaking childhoods. So these types of Aries placements may sometimes feel like they walk on eggshells around you with the Nine of Wands reversed, because they feel like they can't fully express their sad emotions to you. Like, let's say you have a friendship with an Aries and they're like, oh, I can't express that this person treated me this way. I can't tell this person like, oh, this was what you did that made me upset, or made me sad. It's kind of like they keep their feelings of sadness to themselves because they're in this people pleasing energy, and because they're afraid of maybe having those difficult conversations, and because of that, maybe sometimes they move on from it quickly with the Eight of Wands. Like, Aries is known for that, moving on fast from things, and not holding on to it. So it's not like they stay holding on to that, but maybe sometimes you could trigger feelings of sadness for Aries, but then sometimes they don't know how to exactly express that to you, but then they eventually do move on from it and heal from it with a Star. So I do feel like for your reading, when it comes to Aries, you could sometimes trigger some sad emotions in Aries, but eventually that brings them to a healing with the Star, because maybe you trigger something within them that's already within them, like a pain that is already within them, and then you trigger a healing there with the Star. And it does have something to do with how your birth chart is interacting with their birth chart. So let's say something has already happened to them and you trigger that same feeling within them, and then you trigger a healing so that they can finally move past that. But maybe you also trigger them to finally realize where they should stand up for themselves and where they should speak up for their own emotions and advocate for their own emotions. I think that Aries most of the time do like you and do feel like you're very nurturing and you care a lot about them. It's just that sometimes it's difficult for them to come up to you and tell you how they feel, but they feel like you always come into their life and bring a healing and a breath of fresh air, and you help them maybe move forward from things and see different perspectives. Maybe you've given a lot of Aries good advice, and just support in general. So that is what I see for Aries in terms of how Aries feels about you. So next we're going to take a look at Taurus. So how does Taurus feel about this collective? Spirit guides of this collective, how does Taurus feel about this collective? So we have the Magician as the first card. Then we have the Eight of Cups reversed. the Temperance card reversed, as well as the Fool upright. So with Temperance reversed, Taurus can sometimes feel like this pile is a little bit impatient and needs to have more patience. Taurus often feels like you're fun to be around, but maybe not the most patient. We do have the Three of Swords at the back of the deck. And I am feeling that Taurus feels like you bring this energy in for them, where you show them how to appreciate the moment. You show them how to maybe not be so serious. You show them maybe where they should slow down and just take in the moment. In this kind of free-spirited type of way. So I'd say you make Taurus feel free in some way, because Taurus is often boggled down by maybe their responsibilities or what they feel they have to do, but you kind of just make them feel a little bit more carefree with life and feel like they can kind of just stop thinking about the things that are bothering them or stressing them out, like their work or whatever. Because Taurus is a sign that's so dedicated to their own career and things like that and making money, I feel like you can kind of get their mind off of that and help them de-stress. Yet at the same time, you show Taurus what is important and what's not important to stress about. So with the Eight of Cups reverse, maybe you help them let go of thoughts or ideas or concepts that are hard for them to let go of. So let's say they have certain stresses in their mind that keep coming back and it's hard to not think about. You kind of help them fully detach from that and let go of that and focus on something new that they actually want to focus on. With the Magician here, you kind of help Taurus be in the moment and almost just take their leap of faith without being anxious or overthinking it too much. Taurus takes their time with things, but you kind of help them make quick decisions on their feet whenever they need that extra bit of help. So a thing I've noticed for you is maybe you're someone that always tries to help people, give people advice with decisions they make, because Taurus feels like that with you. And I said something about Aries maybe feeling like you've given them good advice. I feel like with the Three of Swords here, maybe you've helped certain Tauruses let go of heartbreak that they need to let go of, but they didn't know how to. So maybe you helped them finally let go of it, and you made them feel like a weight is lifted off their shoulders. You often make Taurus feel like you bring new beginnings in for them, and often Tauruses feel like you're hard to move on from or hard to forget. There's something very memorable about you to Taurus, and Taurus definitely appreciates the energy you've brought into their life. So now moving on to Gemini. So how does Gemini feel about this collective watching this reading? How does Gemini feel about this collective watching this reading? Okay, we have the Five of Cups showing up reversed. We also have the Ten of Pentacles with the Four of Pentacles. And we have the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so I do think that you have helped Gemini maybe see opportunities where they didn't see it before, through losses, if that makes sense. So at the back of the deck, we have the Nine of Pentacles showing up reversed. So sometimes Gemini feels like their family and friends and people around them have these high expectations of them, of where they should be and what they should have achieved by now. And oftentimes they feel weighed down by those heavy expectations their friends and family have for them and the fact that maybe they haven't reached that. I'm hearing the song Reflection, and I think it's from Mulan, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm getting this feeling of they want to be almost like pleasing their family members, making their family members happy, showing them that they can achieve something great. And a lot of their self-worth is tied to this. I know that doesn't seem very Gemini, but this is what I'm picking up from the cards from the Geminis you've known. And I feel like they feel like maybe some shame linked to how much they have maybe not achieved and where they actually want to be. So a lot of Geminis, the Geminis you know specifically, could be stuck in the cycle of self-comparison and not feeling good enough and not feeling like they make their family members proud. But when it comes to you, you maybe make them feel proud of themselves. You maybe make them see that maybe they have achieved something, that even if they haven't made that big achievement they want in their mind, that small progress is still progress in some way. So maybe you've helped Gemini see where they should pat themselves on the back. I feel like Gemini sees you as very empowering. You've uplifted them in some way, and they feel like you've maybe helped them as well when it comes to money or opportunities. They feel like you've kind of offered them that hand of help when they needed it, or just that encouragement, or yeah, a sense of empowerment. Like maybe Gemini feels like you kind of hype them up in some way, but you also help them see where they should pat themselves on the back. So next we're going to take a look at Cancer. So spirit guides of this collective, please show me, how does Cancer feel about this collective watching? How does Cancer feel about this collective watching? So we have the Six of Wands as the first card. Then we have the Ace of Pentacles. So I'd say Cancer is pretty similar to Gemini. Five of Cups reversed and 10 of Pentacles. At the back of the deck, we have Judgment showing up reversed. What Cancer loves about you, and I think that this pile has, not pile, I'm so used to saying pile, this collective has a love-hate relationship with Cancer. I don't know why, but I am seeing that. Some Cancers could love you because of the fact that you call them out on maybe their poor decisions, on maybe bad behaviors they shouldn't be making. With the Judgment card reversed, you give Cancers a wake-up call. And some Cancers won't like that because maybe they don't like being called out, whereas some Cancers do like that because maybe you hold them accountable for poor decision making, or just poor judgment on their part, so that they can learn and grow and become better next time. So, you know, because of that, some Cancers will love you and some Cancers will dislike you. I think hate's a strong word, but I'm just using that to describe the energy. I feel like when Cancers are moody, maybe you help them see a more positive approach. And sometimes when they want to stay in this moody energy and they don't want to exit this moody energy, they can get very irritated by you because you're trying to show them a new perspective or a positive approach to the situation when they just want to be in their mood. And, you know, sometimes people need validation. Sometimes people need to hear like, okay, I can see why you're frustrated. And sometimes people don't need toxic positivity. So I understand where they're coming from, but I also understand where you're coming from, where when you see this Cancer is kind of just moping around and being sad and you want to cheer them up and show them a positive perspective. I think it's just important to find your balance with Cancers, to make sure that you're validating their emotions and feelings so that they don't feel invalidated, but also show them a positive approach to their feelings. And even if they don't want to take that in that moment, when they do eventually get over what they're feeling, they will listen to what you have to say and take it in and see that positive approach or perspective to whatever's on their mind. Cancer feels like you see them in a way that maybe not many people do, and Cancer feels like you fully see them past the expectations of what you would want from them or who you would want them to be in a superficial manner. So you see past these superficialities in Cancer. Cancer also feels like people around them have a lot of high expectations of them that they may not be able to reach, but you see them for them and not just these superficialities, which is what Cancer likes about you. So next we're going to take a look at Leo. And I just saw the angel number 333 for Cancer. So how does Leo feel about this collective watching this reading? How does Leo feel about this collective watching this reading? So the first card is the Nine of Cups reversed. We have the High Priestess reversed. There's this feeling from Leo of like, I'm itching to get to know you. Leo's almost feeling like you're so mysterious with the moon, and like they want to get to know you better, but kind of feeling shy around you. Seven of Pentacles. Maybe this collective isn't close to that many Leos. We have the Six of Swords reverse, or you have many Leos maybe wanting to get close to you that are kind of like a stranger or an acquaintance that you don't really have a relationship with. I feel like some of you maybe have this bias towards Leos where some of you don't want a relationship with Leos with the Nine of Cups reversed. I'm not laughing at Leo. I personally love Leos, but I understand every person has their own biases towards each sign. So with the Nine of Cups reversed, maybe a lot of you don't like to be around Leos, and maybe that's why they feel like this itching need to be around you and be closer to you, but maybe you kind of are distant and pulling away, or maybe from their perception they perceive that you don't want to be around them or that you don't like them very much. Because the feeling I'm getting from these cards is like, I want to be closer to you, I want to form a deeper relationship to you, but it seems like you're kind of distant from me. It seems like you don't really want to put in the same effort I put in. So I'm just gonna leave you to be, and if you do want to change things in the relationship and, you know, maybe put in effort and get to know me better, I'll be here. I'll keep that door open, but if you don't, then that's okay. But there is still this need for maybe validation from you, this need to receive validation from you or attention from you in some way from Leo, or praise. But I am also getting that Leo tries to read you, just finds you very intriguing. Maybe Leo feels like you don't fully trust them or like them, but they definitely try to put an effort to get you to see that they do want something with you, but they also don't want to chase you to the point where Leo is becoming the chaser and you become the prize. They kind of feel like they don't want to chase, they'd rather want to be in this energy of receptivity and not like chasing but attracting. So that's what I see for Leo in terms of how Leo feels about you. But they're hoping you change your mind about them and that you eventually do end up liking them. So next we're going to take a look at Virgo. So how does Virgo feel about this collective watching this reading? How does Virgo feel about this collective watching this reading? We have the Four of Pentacles. We have the Six of Swords reversed. We have the Death card reversed. Virgo kind of finds you intimidating. I don't know why, but they do. The Knight of Wands reversed. And at the back of the deck, you have the Five of Cups reversed. I sense that a lot of you watching this reading could have a lot of Virgos you've had maybe on and off relationships with, or it's almost like maybe you have a lot of exes or ex-friends that have Virgo placements where things maybe ended in maybe not the best way, and there's some kind of unfinished business here between you and these Virgos from your past. I'm specifically picking up on Virgos from your past, okay? So these Virgos from your past do feel like there's some kind of unfinished business here, and do feel like there's some words that have been unspoken here. They feel like they lack closure from what truly happened and how you truly feel about them. They feel like they lack closure on if you're cool or if you still have beef. There's kind of this confusing element here of like, I don't know how you truly feel, or I don't know if you still care about me or not, or if there's still a door open for us to maybe rekindle things or reconnect, or if you just feel like you're completely over me. A lot of Virgos feel like you're hard to move on from and you're hard to just like let go of. Even if you're not physically in their life anymore or in communication with them anymore. A lot of Virgos get very attached to you with the Four of Pentacles and hold on to your memory. And a lot of Virgos also feel like you are likable to them because you're not coming across as impulsive and you're coming across as reliable and someone they can count on. And so a lot of Virgos feel that you're very loyal and feel like they can count on you. But there may also be disappointments here attached to you not having a relationship to Virgos of your past anymore. So now that we're done with Virgo, let's take a look at Libra. So how does Libra feel about this collective watching this reading? How does Libra feel about this collective? So we have the Three of Swords as the first card. Then we have the Five of Cups reversed. This card is coming out a lot within your reading. The Six of Cups reversed. And the Magician. Okay, at the back of the deck, we have the Nine of Wands. So I'm seeing some interesting similarities between Libra and Aries, which is so interesting because Libra and Aries are sister signs of each other, kind of like opposites of each other, but they do have one similarity here where both of them feel like they kind of walk on eggshells around you. So I feel like you attract a lot of Aries and Libras that are kind of in this people-pleasing mentality, or scared to stand up for themselves or speak up for themselves, or speak up or advocate for their own frustrations or heartbreaks or feelings that get hurt in their connection to you. So a lot of Libras could feel like you hurt their feelings in some way, but could struggle to stand up to you or say that, hey, what you did hurt my feelings, because maybe they feel bad. And of course, not all Libras are like this, but you know, Libras are kind of known for sometimes being those peacemakers and being the ones who try to keep the peace rather than be assertive. And so I feel like these are Libras that are not in the most assertive energy. And with the Six of Cups reverse, I feel like you also have a lot of Libras that feel like it's hard to let go of you, or hard to let go of the memories you have or shared together. A lot of them feel like they want to reconnect with you or work things out with you if you had a particular bad ending with them. Yeah, a lot of Libras feel like you're just unforgettable and the memory of you lingers on, and they just feel this need to reconnect with you in some way. And even if you don't have like an ending with them, maybe they feel like after they see you, they just can't stop thinking about you, can't, like your memory with them lingers on, where they just have to speak to you again and connect with you again and catch up with you with the Magician. Libra kind of feels like no matter how much time you spent apart, when they reconnect with you, it's like no time has passed between the two of you. It's like your relationship hasn't changed at all, and you guys kind of just start where you left off. It's not like we're back to zero in our connection. We still have this understanding of each other. So I'd say you're very liked by Libra. The only thing I see here that's maybe a little bit more negative is Libra does tend to get hurt by you in some way, by maybe the things you say or do, but then they're afraid to speak up for themselves. They lack that courage to do so, or at least the Libras I'm picking up on here for you. So now that we're done with Libra, let's take a look at Scorpio. I'd say with some Libras, you do leave a little bit of a bad taste in their mouth because maybe they're afraid to speak up for themselves, or like let's say you do something where you accidentally hurt their feelings without realizing. Maybe that leaves a bad taste in some Libras' mouths though. But I'd say most Libras do like you. So, how does Scorpio feel about this collective watching this reading? How does Scorpio feel about this collective watching this reading? So, we have the Eight of Wands. We have the Hermit reversed. Oh, okay. We have the Justice card. We have the Queen of Wands, and we have the Page of Swords. Okay, so I'm just moving these cards up so we have space. I feel as though with the Wheel of Fortune reversed at the back of the deck, most Scorpios feel this feeling around you as if like you guys aren't an energetic match, or you guys just don't click in the best of ways. Like, it's not that they dislike you, but it feels like it's hard to understand you, or it's hard to kind of connect with you in some way with words. It's hard to click with you in some way. A lot of these Scorpios like people they can kind of just click with and not have like a forceful conversation where it's like you're trying to force it not to be awkward, but they like connections where the conversations are just effortless and they kind of just flow, and there's just like an immediate understanding of the other person and an immediate connection there. But with you, Scorpios kind of feel like, and this might not be true, but Scorpios kind of feel like you're too unaware of your own behaviors to be around them. The Hermit reverse can represent someone that's not being quite self-aware or not looking at their own actions and how it may affect other people. And the Hermit reverse can represent someone that is maybe acting from an unconscious place. And so with Scorpio, Scorpio sees through you, or at least they think they're seeing through you if this is not truly something you resonate with. But Scorpio kind of feels like they can trust you, but you're not going to be aware of like how you're affecting them in some way. Scorpio kind of feels like they need to be around people that are more conscious and aware of their own actions and words. So it's not like you're doing anything wrong per se, but it's more like Scorpio is very sensitive, or at least the Scorpios you know are very sensitive, and they get hurt easily by words, even if they're truthful. I think that maybe some of you are very honest with the Justice card, or you can even be blunt with your words, blunt with your honesty, and sometimes there isn't, at least from Scorpio's perspective, a consideration of the other person's feelings. Even if those words are true, they could still hurt. So you could be the type of person that says something truthfully because you care about the person, or just because you're just brutally honest. I don't know, but there is that type of energy here, but it hurting, those truths hurting. So I think with Scorpio, sometimes they don't want to face the truth, and then you sometimes trigger them because of that, because maybe that truth is a little bit hard to accept or hurtful to accept. I do pick up on an anger and a frustration from Scorpio, kind of feeling like you are somewhat like a kid that doesn't think about your words and just says it. You know, like when a kid tells someone something and it's kind of hurtful but true. I'm picking up on that kind of energy. So Scorpio wants to be around people that maybe tell them things that are more empowering to hear with the Queen of Wands, that make them feel better about themselves, whereas you just say the truth. It's not like they want people to necessarily kiss their behind area, but it's more so like they have certain insecurities that make it hard for them to accept the truth of situations, and sometimes they just want people around them that understand that and won't overstep any boundaries in that sense. So it's not like you're necessarily overstepping boundaries. It's a very complex energy from Scorpio to read, which is why it's going on a little bit longer. But it's not like Scorpio avoids the truth, because I think Scorpio can be very raw in that sense, where they can see the truth of the situation themselves, but maybe for them it's linked to something more sensitive, and so they don't vibe with you fully. I'd say with this pile, be careful to not hurt a Scorpio because, you know, it takes a very long time for them to get over things. So, yeah, like maybe something you say to a Scorpio, they'll remember forever. They'll eventually let go of it, but they'll remember it for a long time. So now we're going to take a look at Sagittarius's energy. So, spirit guides of this collective, how does Sagittarius feel about this collective? How does Sagittarius feel about this collective? So we have the Empress as the first card. Then we have the World. I'm hearing ambition. They like your ambition. They're inspired by you, the Sun. The King of Pentacles reversed and the Six of Pentacles. So Sagittarius does really like this pile, but kind of hides the fact that they like this pile with the Moon at the back of the deck. Sagittarius thinks you're very funny. They think that your humor is unmatched, I'm hearing. And they think that you very much cheer them up. Like just seeing your face and your presence cheers them up. They feel very happy around you. They feel like they get along with you pretty well. They feel like they want to spend more and more time with you, but they also don't want to show you how eager they are. They feel like you have given a lot to them and been so generous with them, and they're so appreciative of what you've given to them. And they also feel like just giving to you and being generous with you. I'd say you get along with a lot of Sagittariuses, or at least they feel like they get along with you, and they feel like you've achieved some pretty big things that they find inspiring in some way, where they want to learn from you. What they do notice from you is that you're not overly focused on your achievements, but you're more so focused on the enjoyment of that task or of that activity, and through that you gain some kind of achievement. So let's say you really enjoy your job, or you really love the job you do, and through that enjoyment of your job you find you really reach a place of success without desperately wanting or seeking it, but just getting it through that enjoyment of that. Sagittarius kind of feels like you're that first person they would pick. You know, when you're in school and the teachers like pick a classmate to kind of collaborate with, you're the first person they're going to pick out of a whole group of people. So Sagittarius kind of feels like you would be their first choice to be their bestie, or they just feel very connected to you on an emotional level. But I'm seeing something about Scorpio now, and a Scorpio being friends with a Sagittarius. This is very specific for someone, not for everybody. But a Scorpio being friends with a Sagittarius, and that Scorpio not liking you, but then the Sagittarius liking you. So you may have certain situations where a Sagittarius likes you, but then another sign that they're friends with doesn't like you and tries to keep you two from being friends. That's so random, but that's what I'm picking up on. So yeah, I'd say Sagittarius definitely likes this pile. I'd say Sagittarius is the pile that likes you the most. I mean, not pile. They're the zodiac that likes you the most. Forgive me. I feel like Sagittarius is the sign that likes you the most, that would almost consider you like a bestie to them, if I had to explain it like that. So next we're going to look at Capricorn. So how does Capricorn feel about this collective, please, Spirit? How does Capricorn feel about this collective? So the first card you have is the Page of Pentacles showing up reversed. Then you have the Eight of Wands. You have the Four of Wands reversed. And you have the Devil. And at the back of the deck, you have the Queen of Wands. I do think this collective of people watching this reading have had a lot of Capricorns feel envious feelings towards you. And it has to do with your birth chart and the way your birth chart interacts with their birth chart. So I feel like you tend to attract a lot of envious Capricorns that maybe aren't in their highest self-worth or aren't in their highest amount of confidence. So a lot of Capricorns tend to compete with you and have self-comparisons to you. Maybe you've attracted a lot of toxic Capricorns with the Devil card here. And it's interesting, the Devil card is Capricorn energy. So we're seeing their energy come out here. But I feel like you've maybe attracted like a lot of unevolved Capricorns or Capricorns that have been in this toxic energy with the Devil here. So through that jealousy and that competitive energy, I see Capricorn almost feeling like they've always been the one that was the best or the number one. And here you are threatening them, making them feel like you're going to outshine them or surpass them in some way with whatever you're doing. They almost feel like they've been learning whatever they've been learning for a long time, and you just started and you are threatening to them. So what I'm seeing energetically is like, for example, let's say you have a hobby that you like and you just started this hobby, but Capricorn has been doing this hobby for years and somehow you're just as good as Capricorn, even though they've been doing this for years. I'm seeing an energy like that, and through that, it causes this threatening feeling and envy. But I'm also seeing some Capricorns that are attracted to you and find you quite sexy in some way, but then wouldn't actually go for you because they assume that you are someone with commitment issues or wouldn't commit to them or follow through on promises you give. A lot of Capricorns feel like they could have a balanced and harmonious connection with you when they're attracted to you, but because you seem like someone that's more so here for a fun time than a long time, they eventually say, okay, I'd rather pass on this. You're attractive and everything, but I don't feel like we're compatible in what we want. And you could be someone that wants something serious in terms of relationships, but it's kind of like Capricorn is assuming that you're just here for a good time and not a long time. So yeah, I'd say with Capricorn, there is this energy of envy, but also attraction. And if it's not like a sexual romantic attraction, then it could be they're attracted to your energy, but envious of it at the same time. So again, I'm not saying all Capricorns are like this, but these are just the Capricorns you have attracted in your life. So next we're going to take a look at Aquarius. How does Aquarius feel about this collective watching this reading? I feel these cards. So we have the Hermit reverse. Aquarius feels kind of similar to the other sign I mentioned. Was it Scorpio? That feels like you're kind of unaware or unconscious of your own actions. The Tower reversed. The Queen of Pentacles reversed. And the Wheel of Fortune reversed. I don't feel like Aquariuses get along with this collective. We have Temperance in the reverse, but I'm an Aquarius and I like you. So I'm sure that counts. But okay, the Aquariuses you've had in your life, I don't feel like they like you that much. Not that you've done anything wrong to them. It's nothing personal, but they just don't feel like they vibe well with you in some way. They feel like they need people around them that are a little bit more unique and um a little bit more of like a weirdo, if that makes sense. They feel like they need people around them that are a little bit more patient, and a little bit more goofy, if I can say it like that. I feel like Aquariuses and you, there's no negative feelings here, but there's also a feeling here of like we're not compatible, or we're not like vibing well or getting along as well as we could. So with the Tower reversed, Aquarius kind of feels like you could prevent a lot of the challenges that are happening in your life by being more aware of or conscious of your actions or decisions, or the way you say things, or something like that. They feel like if you were more conscious or aware of your own actions, you would have less challenges or less things falling apart in your life. You may have, some of you, not all, may have an Aquarius in your life that kind of feels like they were always there to pick up the pieces of whatever mistake you made or whatever thing you did wrong. They were always there to fix things for you or to pick up the pieces. So I don't feel like Aquarius likes you that much or vibes that well with you. Okay, so Pisces. How does Pisces feel about this collective watching this reading? How does Pisces feel about this collective? We have the Nine of Cups reversed. We have the Star. We have the Page of Wands. Pisces does feel like you're humorous, the Six of Pentacles. Yeah, so Pisces does feel like you're humorous, Strength reversed at the back of the deck. And Pisces does feel like you... I'm trying to find the right words to describe this energy. Pisces does feel like you kind of are like a weakness for them. There's a part of them that really wants you and desires you, but kind of feels like you don't reciprocate that, or they're not going to get what they want out of the connection with you. So Pisces feels like you are wanted by them, but they're not going to get what they desire from you. Does that make sense? Maybe you've had a lot of Pisces that have desired more of a connection with you, but it just never kind of went the way they expected it or the way they wanted it to go. And the thing is, these Pisces are kind of shy, these Pisces that I'm picking up on, where they wouldn't actually tell you that. Like, let's say a Pisces was crushing on you and trying to speak to you, and they weren't full on flirting with you, but they were hoping you would eventually flirt with them, and it never happened like that. You know, they could kind of feel like, I would have liked that to happen, but it never happened. Or let's say a Pisces wanted to be friends with you, but wasn't straightforward with you about wanting a friendship, but kind of just wanted to give you more time and attention so that you would eventually get the hint that they want a friendship with you, and it never happened the way they wanted it to. And so they're just like, oh, okay, they don't want to be friends with me. But they weren't straightforward about it. And maybe if they were more straightforward, maybe they would have gotten what they wanted here. I'm hearing the song We Could Have Been. I think it's Bryson Tiller. No, wait, it's her. It's the song by her. So yeah, maybe Pisces almost feels like this energy of we could have had something, but it never transpired that way. But there's still hope here that maybe in the future you could have something together. So with Pisces, they highly admire you, and they often feel like they have like a soft spot for you in their heart. Like, someone else could badmouth you in front of a Pisces, and Pisces wouldn't be swayed by that because they have such a soft spot for you in their heart. You can make a mistake or do something really bad to Pisces, which don't do, please, but you know, let's say you make a mistake around them, they're not going to get angry at you for it. They're going to be a lot more patient with you than other people because of the fact that they have a soft spot with you. And I just saw the angel number 333 again. So, yeah, I'd say Pisces finds you highly admirable. They definitely want to be around you, but they don't know how to make that connection, how to like actually create a connection with you in the beginning. They kind of feel shy around you. So that is all I have for you today. I really hope this reading resonated with you. Let me know down in the comments below how this reading resonated. Did some of the signs resonate? Did all of them resonate? So yeah, I'm just interested to hear your perspective. Is there any sign that stood out to you in terms of it resonating? So yeah, let me know down in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'm so excited to see you next time.